Hey, it's a Skull Mystic. Are you one of those players who has been playing this game since the beginning of time? Since, oh, Mushu was the final world, or Dragonspire was the final world, way back in the day, 2008, when dinosaurs ruled the earth. And you remember from those days how tough some of these areas were, especially if you were going solo. You remember just how tough it was to play. You remember coming up through Dragonspire and how long and grindy that seemed. And you remember coming up through Celestia. And you remember going through, well, here, Dragonspire. And you came into Dragonspire Manor on the ground floor and you were like, good Lord, is this tough. But you and your friends, through perseverance, maybe a little bit of luck, and a whole lot of bad language, made it all the way up to the top, to the graveyard. And that's when the real trouble began. You got in there against Night Creeper and against Shane and against Malistaire himself, and man, them bad boys was not playing. They was not given any quarter whatsoever. You'd kill Malistaire, if you did it wrong, he'd come back with way more life, and you'd have to do it again. Well, these days, as you all know, so many areas of this game have been nerfed down due to complaints from all the newer generation of people who find it to be a lot tougher, or found it to be a lot tougher than they were ready for. And, well, they registered a complaint, and enough of them have registered complaints that this area and Polaris and Mirage and a lot of things actually have all become nerfed to make it quote-unquote easier. There are, to my opinion and my theories, a few reasons for this. One of them is that it's harder to find good grinding teams of people these days. It's really hard to get harder to get a group of friends together on this game to do content like that. And that's kind of one of the reasons they kind of gave in and nerfed it out. I mean, that, and of course, like I said, a lot of complaints about nerfing. Now, that's all well and good for those people, but I think that that kind of ticks a little bit of the old school people off. The ones who remember having to deal with a whole barn load of horse hockey to get through some of this stuff, and it kind of triggers them just a little bit. I've seen it more than once where somebody who is of the old school and old content has been triggered because somebody come there and fought a 30,000 life Malistaire and got their gear, no problem, no fuss, no muss, and they remember having to fight Malistaire. I'm one of these, by the way, not the triggered ones, but the ones who had to do this, who had to fight Malistaire 50 times to get their full set of gear. And that was back in the day when Malistaire had some meat to him. He had a little bit of meat on the bones, and he had a little bit of arm muscle behind that staff, and he wasn't afraid to smack somebody with it. He was not. These days, it's a much more calmer, gentler time. I'll use the words calmer and gentler because I don't mean... Anyway, calmer, gentler time because of the nerfing. But is the nerfing really the best thing at all? Okay, the combat nerfing, all well and good. You know, they have the combat nerfing. Let's also talk about, while we're talking about nerfing that may or may not be the case, let's talk about drops nerfing. And I want to, for the drops nerfing, go to two different places to illustrate this point. All right, so I'm going to meet you over there where they're at, and we'll talk about them briefly. Here we are at our old buddy Omen Strybog. Those of you who were here whenever Omen was a new thing, remember how annoyingly difficult Omen was to fight. But at least, whenever you did beat Omen, you got decent drops. Omen, I think, has more mounts as drops than any other boss in this game, which ergo also means that he has more overall good drops than any other boss in this game. Malistaire has all the Darkmoor gear, and that's true, but Malistaire, even today, is more stingy with his drops than Omen. The thing about this is, though, Omen doesn't drop things as nice and evenly and freely as he did whenever he was first released. Yeah, I don't know, about 2, maybe 3 weeks after Omen was released, he started getting a little bit stingier. Maybe because his pockets were feeling more empty. You know, because everybody come up here and robbed him left and robbed him right and robbed him down the middle. Maybe that's why his pockets started getting lighter and maybe why he started getting stingier. But I don't think so. I think it was just the natural nerfing that goes on. Now, that's all, again, all well and good. But so far as I also know, Omen isn't one of those bosses whose battle or whose fight has been nerfed to go with his drops nerf. It seems like nerfing isn't just about battle these days. It's also about the drops. Now, there are several things that you can do to improve your chances on these nerf drops, and we'll talk about them as I go to the next spot. Let me head over there and we'll talk about that one. Because the place I'm going now is the prime example of nerf drops. I'll see you over there in just one moment. Here we are, Zafaria, the Elephant Graveyard. Aside from Darkmoor, this area is the one that I absolutely hear about the most so far as lousy, no getting anything nerf drops. Whenever the Elephant Graveyard first came out, and I know this for a fact because, well, whenever the Elephant Graveyard first came out, I did a video about the code wands that are dropped from fishing here. That's right, the Umbra Staff. I mean, all the really well-desired code wands are here. They are here, believe it or not. These days you couldn't tell, but whenever I did that video, whenever this was new, I think I picked up every single code wand that there was in just the short time, excuse me, in just the short time that it took me to make the video. Why is it so hard these days to get a code wand out of this thing? It seems like the drops have been nerfed down, down to maybe even 1/10 of what they were. Whenever you can pick up all the code wands in about an hour of fishing, and now you're lucky if you see one in an hour of fishing. Guys, there's obviously something. One of these things is not like the other. There's obviously some nerfing going on. Now, now that I've very well illustrated my point about the nerfing of both combat and drops, there's not a lot we can do about the nerfing of combat. I personally feel that they should have a sliding scale for the combat. That's going to satisfy the toughest people. That's going to satisfy the lower level people. But instead of having the sliding scale like they currently do, like for instance, whenever you go into the one-shot gauntlets, it scales to the lower level, the lowest level character in there. And that's how a lot of people take advantage of that farming thing, is low levels have high levels come with them. You know how it works. Anyway, I think that instead of doing it that way, they should have a sliding scale, sure, but slide the scale to the highest level character that's there. For those people who want a challenge, who want to see if they have the skill to beat a boss at full strength. That is the thing. That's what people play a game for, is to be challenged, is to see what kind of skills that they have and how their skills match up against the critters, creatures, bosses, and or other non-living pixelated items that are in a game. That's what people do. They want to be challenged. Whenever you nerf things and you take away the fight potential for higher level characters, it's boring. Let's have a sliding scale so that everybody in your party who's there, the scale slides to the highest level character. Now, does that mean that low levels can't take advantage and run in with a high level and get stuff? Well, they don't need it, I don't think. Okay, if you're a low level, a level 30, you can't use Malistair gear. What do you need to go there for? Why? Why do you need to go there? So that might not be a popular opinion, especially with the low levels who are benefiting. But I'm not here to talk about low-level prizes. I'm here to talk about a challenging gameplay and making the game more interesting again. You know, let's make this a challenge for the people who want it to be a challenge. And if there's some people who want to run it as a low level thing, again, make it a sliding scale. Just like they have with the one-shot gauntlets, you can adjust the level, well, not all of them, but some of them. You can adjust the level of play that you want to do. Let's be able to do that with dungeons and bosses. Let's say, hey, okay, we're going to set it for this. We want a challenge. We want it to be this tough. Let's do that. Now, as for the nerfed drop rates, you can get the best luck whenever something brand new comes out. But you can also get good luck on drops, especially rare drops like these code wands, whenever there's some kind of an event or a promotion going on. It seems like what they do with the item drop rate, especially for stuff like this, is it's really, really high when it's brand new because they want everybody to go there. They want everybody to check it out. They want everybody to get a little bit of it and feel a little bit better and promote the game and cheer on the game and all that. And that's fine. And then again, they'll do it whenever there's some kind of an event or a promotion or a whatnot going on. For instance, I have noticed this. Couch Potatoes, it seems like the drop rate on them over in Grizzleheim and over in Mirage, it seems like the drop rate for those goes up whenever 5 boxes is open, and you can get Couch Potatoes out of 5 boxes. So the best way and the best time to get the drops that you want and you need is going to be whenever an item is new or place is new. You need to boogie your buddy on there and get it while it's hot, as the saying goes. Or wait and keep your eye out for a promotion or an event that's going on, because it seems like then the drop rates raise too. Alright guys, this is just some thoughts I've had about all the nerfing that's going on, both for fights and drop rates, and I hope that some of this that I have told you helps you out. If it did, please hit that like button, a good hard smash as well. Subscribe, share, and yell my name to everybody you know, because I would love to see more of you around here. Until next time, this is Skelemastic reminding you that whatever else you do, always love the game. Peace! Hey, what's up, gamer? Skelemastic. Have you ever been playing somewhere in the game world and you've seen something or done something, or one of your buddies has seen or done something, and you said, man, that ought to be a meme, I swear. Now, mind you, I know that a lot of people are of the opinion that an entire